Now we're going to talk a little bit about the world of CSEs. These are comparison shopping engines. So this allows you to look at physical products in any possible category you can think of and to compare prices and models and offerings from a bunch of different companies. So this is Price Grabber, pricegrabber.com. This is one of the biggest ones out there. So you click on, whatever. I'm just poking around here in the furniture catalog. And you see all these different types of like futons for this example here, beds, sofas, couches. And these link to major companies like Target and Overstock. It also, will link to smaller little individual companies, small business owners. But every product you pretty much see in these engines, an advertiser is paying per click to send traffic to that landing page or site that sells that actual product. So it's just this giant shopping comparison search engine where people can come in and search, in very detailed, like you can see, they can search by certain price range and there's how many listings and things for each one. And it's very, very detailed. So these sites are great, not only for driving traffic. If you sell a bunch of e-commerce products, you can, bid and you can pay per click and you can get, you could literally spend $1 million a day if you had the budget to send traffic to your, e-commerce store website. So there's lots and lots of traffic supply available. But it's also a great research tool if you're trying to look into certain products for your market, like if you go into sporting goods or some of those other examples that I gave, gardening, things like that, to look at some different ideas. But these comparison shopping engines obviously are only for these physical products. If you sell an info product, you can't list it on here. It's only for these actual real products. But there's some downsides to these sites. There are some, people do well with these sites, and a lot of people that sell only physical products, some of them do the majority of their business by advertising on these sites. When we get to AdWords, we're going to get to Google's shopping option, which is managed through Google AdWords, which is the same thing that you see here, kind of, but you'll see sometimes in Google search results, you'll see photos like these of different products, and that's Google's engine for products that you can also pay to advertise there. We'll cover that when we get to AdWords. So let's talk about these comparison shopping engines, or these CSEs. So Price Grabber, Nextag, Shopping.com, and of course Google are some of the biggest. I'll put on the resources page some links to a bunch of different ones so you can check them out. They get tons of traffic, millions of visitors a month, and they drive a gazillion clicks to online stores all over the internet. They typically all work on a cost per click bid system, ranges about 20 cents to $1, can be more or less depending on the site. But that's just to get people to click on your little photo listing on their engine and getting people over to your website. That's how much it costs you. So it could cost you $1 to get someone over to your website, but to your actual landing page for the actual product somebody was looking at, the shopping engine. So it's highly targeted traffic. They see a futon or a certain baseball bat or something. They see what it is. They see the brand if it has a brand. They see how much it costs. So they're very pre-qualified once they click on that ad, because they're seeing it. That's obviously probably what they want, or they wouldn't click on it. And so if you sell physical products, you could turn a profit. You just got to be careful that you're tracking everything. So just like with AdWords, which we will talk about when we get into pay-per-click marketing within search engines, the higher you bid, the more volume you can get, because it's done on a bidding basis. And you may make less profit per click because you're paying more, but if you can get more volume, then you'll end up making more total profit. That's why the biggest mistake people make when they get into CPC systems like AdWords, they're like, oh, I'm just going to bid the minimum. I'm just going to create a bunch of campaigns, and they're all just going to be bid the minimum. And then if I only have to pay 5 cents or 10 cents or whatever the minimum is I can get it for, I'll just maximize my profit if they buy my thing for $100. Well, that sounds good in theory, but people that do that are leaving so much money on the table. Because if you're able to bid more and get the volume of traffic, even if your profit per visitor is less, you're making more money because you have the volume. So it's something to keep in mind even with these shopping sites. The challenge in these shopping sites is you either have a unique product and you price it whatever way that you want because it's unique. It's not being compared like a commodity to someone else selling the exact same thing. Or if you're selling a common product, then it's price driven. You have to go cheaper. So you are competing with other sites selling the same thing. The only way to compete is on price. That's why people use those sites. So if you have unique products, you definitely have an advantage in my opinion because they can't compare it. If they stumble upon it by browsing through those categories, they can't compare what you sell to something else because what you sell is unique. I mentioned this, you got to track conversions with each of these sites separately, each of these campaigns, each of these products you list. They have a way where you can literally upload like a CSV file, a large spreadsheet of tons of products. So if you sold 10,000 products on your website, had all those SKUs, you could upload a file with all the information for all those products into these engines, and it'll boom, you can start running ads for all of them. But you got to be careful because, of course, you're paying for all of them too. So you always got to track everything, which is, of course, the foundation of this course. We track our results. So the benefit of these engines, unlike advertising on Amazon with their up-and-coming ad platform, is we can send traffic to our site directly. And it's not just, stays within their site. We actually get people over to our site. So the reason why that's good is we can do a few things. We're dropping Facebook pixels because we already set those up. We are essentially cooking them and dropping Google pixels because that's set up already with Google Analytics, which we set it up to be able to do the remarketing. So by doing that, we're able to retarget these customers. Of course, we're going to get to that in this course, but because we're dropping those pixels, cooking those browsers, we know who came to the page for that specific baseball bat or camping tent or whatever that one product was, and we can do retargeting campaigns for those products and have ads chase them all over the internet, our ads, to try to get them to come back and buy. And of course, the math matters there, so we want to do it with higher profit margin products or very highly converting products. And so that comes down to testing. But getting them to our site is a major advantage. Again, unlike Amazon, we're just going to send the traffic to your listing on Amazon. So there is tons of traffic available on these comparison shopping engines, these shopping sites. But again, you got to watch your spend closely or you can burn through a huge advertising budget very, very quickly.